So, driving impressions of the 575 are, most people think, oh, this is just a 550 that has a softer suspension. And I can tell you, having owned a couple of 550s, there's a big difference. And that difference is really coming down to the engine. That engine in the 550 was a 5.5 liter. When they went to the 575, they upped it by 250 cc's. And that sounds like it's not going to do much, but let me tell you, it does. The horsepower peak didn't really go up that much. The torque peak, the numbers were like 1020 horsepower, 1020 pound-feet of torque, maybe less. But I tell you, the seat of the pants feel on the difference between those two cars is quite profound. And mostly you feel that power in the mid-range. For example, it's kind of a cold-ish day. It's now like 8 degrees or something. I've got to be really careful. It's bone dry here, but if I punch it in second or third, at full throttle, it's or even half throttle, maybe 3/4 throttle, you're going to break loose. This car wants to go in a way that the 550 didn't necessarily, period. So, one of the things about the 575 is because it didn't come with a manual transmission, and because of the styling cues, and because the early cars had this tendency to quote-unquote porpoise, which is to say, because they had a soft suspension, they would just kind of go like this, like a porpoise does, it would suck down and then, ride up, because the damping. This car was unfairly considered to be very soft and very poorly handling. Now, of course, there are handling packs that you can get with this car that correct that, but I'm talking about base cars. Getting out of a 550, you notice that this is a very softly sprung car. And in the fullness of time, it's pretty clear that was a misstep on Ferrari's part, maybe, in terms of making the cars overly soft, and then subsequently they did, take steps to correct that. But, all of that stuff can be retrofitted, all of that stuff can be fixed in the aftermarket, and it really shouldn't take away from what is otherwise a significantly improved car, in my opinion. Okay, so we're at the car wash. I'm gonna sort of take you for a little walk around, and then we'll continue.